Welcome to AERIN channel, and let's continue to learn together about surface modeling. This was how we left our sprayer model. We've got these 3 different sections, but they're not actually joined together. In this video, we're going to revisit surface lofts, and we're going to use these to join the surfaces that we've already created. Before we do this, we're actually gonna split these 2 surfaces, the nozzle and the bowl, into smaller sections, so it's easier to create the lofts. If you look at the handle, for example, we've got this surface here at the back, and we want to loft it forward to this front surface, but the front surface is just one single surface all the way around, and we only want to loft a small section of it in the middle. So if we split up that front surface into smaller faces, it'll be easier to make the loft. So we'll make this split now and then. Hopefully it will be a bit more obvious why we do this. It's quite easy to split the face up. We can use the split line command. Before we do this, let's create a sketch that we can use to draw the lines that we're going to make the split. So start a sketch on the right plane. Get a center rectangle. And then start at the origin here. And let's make a rectangle that's 22mm wide. And the height of it isn't too important, as long as it completely covers the whole model. So I'm gonna drag it out to something like this, so it's larger than the model, and then I'm going to get the smart dimension. And I'm gonna say set 600mm there. So we can see in 3D, the whole sketch is much taller than the model. We can now exit this sketch and we can use this rectangle with a split line. The split line feature can be found on the Features tab, and it's under the Curves drop-down. So here it is. We can also find it in the Search Commands box, as usual up here on the right. So I'm going to choose Split Line, and then here on the left, we want to choose the Projection option. And then first we need to choose the sketch that we just drew. So click in this box and then select the sketch. If we can't see the sketch for any reason, we might just need to expand the second feature tree, and then select the sketch in there. So we've got the sketch selected, and then here, in the Faces to Split box, let's just choose that face on the bulb, and also the face on the nozzle. So we're going to project this sketch onto these 2 faces, and split those faces along the lines of that sketch. So let's press OK. And it should look like this. And now we can see we've split those surfaces up into smaller faces. So I should say at this stage, the surface body itself isn't actually split up. It's still one single surface body. It's just got smaller faces on it. So the terminology is a little bit confusing. So we've got one surface but with multiple smaller faces. And if we expand the surface bodies folder, we can see, for example, we've just got one single surface there, but as I said, multiple smaller faces. Right, we can now use these faces to create the new loft. So I'm going to go to the Surfaces tab. I'm going to choose Lofted Surface. And let's just choose the profiles of the loft we want. So we're going to go from the handle to the nozzle. So I'm going to select roughly here on the handle, and then roughly the same position of the edge in the middle of the nozzle. And we should get a preview something like this. It's a nice straight loft like this. If we find that our loft is twisted or the preview doesn't show up, if we've got something like this, it might be that our connectors just aren't quite straight. So if this happens, the easiest thing to do is probably just clear the selection and then reselect those 2 edges. And make sure we try and select roughly the same position on each edge. So I'm selecting sort of the right hand side of the edge at the back here. And then also the right hand side of the edge at the front on the nozzle here. We can now adjust the start and the end constraints to give us a nice smooth curve. So I'm gonna expand this section, start end constraints. And I'm gonna change the start constraint to tangency to face. And we can see as we change it, it changes the preview, gives a nice smooth curve. I'm gonna do the same thing with the end constraint as well. Set that one to tangency to face. The value for both of them is set to 1. We can adjust this, and it will change the length of the tangency. It will give us a slightly different curve. We could also use guide curves here, if we want to really define the shape of that loft. To do this, first we have to drawing the guide curves before we create the loft. And we can do this by maybe using a 3D sketch with a spline, or we could add a new plane and use a 2D sketch just with lines and arcs or something like that. If we go all the way down to the bottom, we can also turn on the mesh preview if we expand the curvature display. And then we can see the shape of the surface that we are creating a lot more clearly. We can also turn on the zebra stripes, and we'll come back to this in just a moment. So for now, if our preview looks good, let's press OK to add that surface. And we can see we've got a nice curve along the top of the sprayer there. So to quickly just go back to the zebra stripes, or zebra stripes if we are American, we can go to the Evaluate tab. We can choose zebra stripes, and we should see something like this. Now, these are basically just a visualization that show how our surfaces will join to each other. We can see here at the top, As the two different surfaces join, we've got a nice smooth line of the black and white stripes there. So that shows that we've got a really nice transition without a really sharp corner there. But if we go down here, for example, we can see the stripes do join the black and white parts do join up, but there's a very obvious change in direction. And that's because this upright part is straight and then it goes to a very curved section. So we can see there's a very obvious change of curvature there. So the zebra stripes are basically just a tool that let us visualize exactly how our surfaces work with each other. And then I'm just gonna click the button again to turn off the zebra stripes. Next up, we're gonna add 2 more lofts using the same surface. So I'm gonna go to Surfaces, Lofted Surface. And then this time, I'm gonna choose the front of the handle here. And then choose roughly the same position on the edge of the bulb section here. So again, on the preview, we've got a lofted surface like this. It's very straight, we don't necessarily want that. So I'm gonna expand the start and end constraints. Again, I'm gonna make both of them tangency to face. And then I'm just gonna play around a little bit with these values. I'm gonna keep this one on the handle as 1. But I'm gonna try and increase this one on the bulb. And if we put it up to 3, we can see it just increases the length of that curvature. It gives a bit of a wider curve around there. I'm gonna put it down to 2. And I think that looks good. So I'm gonna press OK to create that lofted surface. And finally, let's do the same thing at the front. So I'm gonna go to Lofted Surface again. Let's choose our 2 profiles. Let's say go from here to here. And then in start and end constraints, let's again make them both tangency to face. I'll keep them at 1. If we want to play around with it, that's totally up to us. So I'm gonna press OK to create that new surface. And we've now joined all of those parts together. We've got quite a nice curve on all of those pieces. So to recap this video, first we split up the surfaces using the split line command. To do this, first we have to draw a sketch, and then we can project that sketch onto the surfaces that we want to split up. We will still have one single surface, but we'll have multiple smaller faces on it, and we can then use those to create the lofts or other features. Next up, we created the lofted surfaces, so we chose that tool. We selected the 2 profiles using roughly the same position on each edge, and we changed the start and end tangency to get exactly the curve that we wanted. For these lofted surfaces, we can also use guide curves if we want to control exactly where the surface goes with a bit more precision. In the next video, we'll learn how to fill in this gap using the Filled Surfaces tool. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you like. I hope it can be a little helpful and useful.